help me in welcoming a remarkable visionary, Mr. Krishnakant Mane, a trailblazer in technology and symbol of perseverance. He stands as Asia's first visually disabled IT professional, as a multifaceted genius, from being a technology entrepreneur and a fintech expert to the founder and CTO of Bookmatic. His journey inspires. Let's embrace the wisdom and resilience that Mr. Mane brings to our summit. Ladies and gentlemen, can we give a huge round of applause to Mr. Krishnakant Mane?
When she asked about engineer, I did not say that's me because I thought I would rather speak about it. I mean, to be very frank, it kind of, makes me quite nostalgic because I am born and brought up in Mumbai, but now we are staying in Pune, and often been to BKC for several other things. So, anyways, hello all. Already she's given you enough introduction, and I know everyone has their own journey to share, and I thought I would share my journey, not just as an inspiration. Well, it's great. Naturally, if for any person, it's a great thing when he or she can inspire others with whatever modest they have done. But apart from that, there are a few things which I have come to understand and come to realize about this industry. And since given the fact that I've been in the industry since 2003, I have worked from the days of Visual Basic when Firefox was towards its end of life, down till a time when people used to have their own physical servers in server racks, hosted server racks, till the point where cloud and AI has taken us. The problem is, another reason why I did not say that's me when she said I'm an engineer is because nowadays my development team doesn't really allow me to do a lot of programming anyhow. So, but there are a few things which I thought when I share my journey, I would bring to everybody's notice, because as a matter of fact, in our business, and especially talking about technological stuff, we do face challenges. And we also have a lot of problems, especially when it comes to the third brain. What I mean by third brain is like, in our head there are two brains. People who understand a bit of medical stuff would know that there are two brains. There's a bigger one and the smaller one, and then there is a third brain. Well, regarding brain, people keep sending some funny quotes like, brain has two lobes, left and right, and in the left nothing is right, and in the right nothing is left. Yeah, we have a lot of morons with really that kind of a situation who claim to know a lot of things, but they really don't know anything. Anyways, so I'm talking about the technological brain. We do talk about artificial intelligence now, but apparently to some extent in a dumber format, computer itself is kind of what we talk about as an artificial intelligence. The only difference is before AI actually came into, I wouldn't say came into being, because when you talk about chat GPT and stuff like that, it's more or less now that common people are talking about AI. But I can tell you, it was in 1998. If there are people who have been listening to All India Radio, there used to be a program called Yivavani, and I was, as an engineer that time, when a budding engineer that time, that was the time when I actually had given a speech on AI on Yivavani. So it was very, very long time back. So, well, how it all started, because a lot of people ask me how I do programming. I do have my laptop, but and I could have opened VS Code, and probably in the process of showing you my real agenda would have been to see if my developers have sent some, pull request as they keep calling. And this could be a rare occasion for me to get my hands down and dirty with coding, because it has been quite a while now that I have got into that stuff. Anyways, that may not happen now. But how I got into this whole thing, what happened was at the very young age of 12. I mean, I am still young. But 12 was too much. Yeah. So my parents actually sent me to their friends in New York. Now the thing is, I come from a very middle class family, so they couldn't go along. I had to be sent alone. And they took a very, very gutsy decision to do so. By the way, talking about my schooling, again, that was the first case in India. I was put to a regular school. There are special schools for the blind, but I did not go there. I was put to a regular school. So when I went to US, that time I was like visiting a few schools where there have facilities, special facilities for the visually challenged people. Unfortunately, यहाँ पे आजकल हम लोग को दिव्यांग बोला जाता है. I'll tell you what, I'm not a superman. कोई भी दिव्य शक्ति नहीं है. It is just that when you have one sense less, you tend to concentrate and optimally use your other senses. They become more sharper naturally. So that's all to it, actually. So I'll tell you how that happened. So when I was visiting one such laboratory, I saw a talking typewriter. It was a rudimentary electronics typewriter. When you pressed a key, it would speak. It would say the letter. When you press A, it will say A. When you press B, it will say B. When you complete a word and press the space bar, it will read out the entire thing. So I was, as a 12-year kid, very impressed and mesmerized. So there was the lab assistant or the faculty, and I asked her that, how is this that this machine talks whatever I press? So she, in her American accent, told me, it has got a program inside that. What? It's got a program. It has a program inside that. And I said, what program? You mean program like on TV and radio? Because I was a small kid, I wouldn't know. Now I can laugh on myself. And I often laugh on myself, and it's very good because when people see me laughing, they also laugh on me, and then they realize they are also laughing on them, which is good. So, I asked what it is. What do you mean by a program? So she gave me a few audio cassettes. In those days, there were audio cassettes, the CDs were not very common. And even now, although they are very common, me and my wife sitting here, we are vinyl collectors. We do collect a lot of LP records. So being in the digital industry, our entertainment source is analog. So I took those cassettes, came back to India, I heard them a lot. And then there were books in Braille, the language of dots, when you just touch and read. So I got those books also about hardware, what software means, what bits and bytes are. And for a small kid, it was kind of a Michael Holdings bouncer on a very hard wicket. But then, you have to go through it. And I read and read again, and I tried to understand, and I talked to my teachers, science teachers in my school. And by 10th, I realized that this is one thing which is kind of an artificial third brain. That is the time when I coined this word, when I was just 15 years old, which actually raises your creativity, accuracy, and efficiency to an infinite level. This is what a 15-year kid was thinking, right? And that time there was a system of merit list. So I was in the merit list that time, and then obviously the most obvious question which every journalist asks to a young boy or a girl who's in the merit list. By the way, journalist लोगों के पास कोई बहुत specific questions रहते हैं. One of them is, आपको अभी कैसा लग रहा है? अगर भूकंप भी हुआ रहेगा, and there will be, यहाँ पे बहुत सारा विनाश हुआ है, आइए एक जन से मिलते हैं. आपके यहाँ तो बहुत कुछ हुआ है, आपके फैमिली के लोग बहुत ही, आपको कैसा लग रहा है? वो बोलेगा अच्छा लग रहा है, इंश्योरेंस का पैसा मिलेगा. या तेंदुलकर को भी पूछा गया था when he made the first double century in one day, आपको भी कैसा लग रहा है? अरे गलती किया मैंने सेंचुरी करके, ऐसे थोड़ी ना बोलेगा वो. But anyways, the same question was asked to me by the journalist. आपको अभी कैसा लग रहा है? मैंने बोला बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, and I'm feeling that I have more responsibility. I have to do something great now, because people are looking at me, and an example has been set. Like I don't like to set records, because records जब set करते हैं, your ideal expectation is कि कोई break ना करे. But I wanted to set an example so that people follow. So I said, I think I've set an example now. Being a visually disabled, I studied in a sighted school, I'm in the merit. The immediate next question was very obvious, and I was prepared for it. One journalist asked me, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a software engineer. और अभी जितना नहीं है उससे ज़्यादा pin drop silence वहाँ पे था. I mean, for some reason people might be discussing, about what I'm talking. The thing is, I knew I could do that for a simple reason. Later on, I of course came to know the challenges. Is that you have to think in the brain to write code. You don't have to, see, designing is a different thing. But when you're talking about logic, you have to think. You have to understand the problem first. You have to convert that problem into variables, functions, classes, modules, arrays, and all that stuff, which I'm not getting into. This is what was there in my mind, and I said I want to do that, but very obviously I did not get an admission. And I always say that if some adverse situation comes, you should learn to make fun of it, and just make fun of it and just work around it and do something better. So I have used this theory very effectively in various situations. I'll tell you later on. So I said, fine, I have to take up arts. Okay, I will take up arts. But then I had to be an engineer. What do I do? So, the two main subjects I deliberately chose was logic and statistics, and of course psychology. Because I knew that these were the subjects which I'm going to need afterwards. And then I completed my graduation, and then by that time, talking softwares were possible to be imported in India. Again, one of my father's friend helped out. We got the talking software, we got the computer. That time, the software license, one license used to cost 1 lakh rupees. And the day when I had that software in my hands, and the day when I approached the university, got my admission into software engineering, I had realized one thing, that okay, tomorrow I will be an entrepreneur, tomorrow I'll do something great, I'll be a researcher. But how many like me would either have the money or the resources or the means to get such costly softwares? Because if they don't get it, it's a denial of opportunity. Fast forward to 2004-05, I happened to be in some conferences. I met a few people from Sun Microsystems. A project was initiated to create an open source screen reading software, and I was one of the very, very earliest contributors to that screen reader, and it was totally free. It's called Orca, ORCA. It was first created for the Linux desktop, and then a copy of it, so to speak, a digital twin, which we were discussing about some time back, was created for Windows, which was called non-visual desktop access. And now, Google apparently took some of that source code later on and converted to what is called as TalkBack, which is there in all your Android phones now. So if you see a talking software in your Android phone, there is some bit of modest contribution yours truly made to that. So as a result, what happened is now that visually disabled people would have some more inclusivity in the arena of at least using computers, let alone being software engineers. Again, after that, one turning point came when I was working with the Tamil Nadu government. I happened to be a direct advisor to Karunanidhi that time. I'm just making the long story short because उसके बीच में बहुत कुछ हुआ. Yeah, सच में बहुत कुछ हुआ. I was in college. I won personality contests and stuff like that. That time also, once one of the judge had asked me that, don't you feel that sometimes blindness is a disadvantage? I said no. Again, problem का मजाक उड़ा के उसको work around करना. So there was a very cute, lovely anchor who was on the stage, who was handling the entire thing. And when my turn used to come, she used to take my hand and take me to the stage. So I told the judge, no, I think I have an advantage. He said, how? I said, all the guys here who are my contestants, no one had the fortune to hold her hand and come on the stage, right? It's only me who had it. Anyways, coming back to the point. So we decided to launch a project called True Vision. Why? Because the Tamil Nadu government had a limited budget and they wanted to create IT-enabled employment for visually disabled people. So since the screen reader was free, the license cost was eliminated. And the entire money was used to train the teachers over there. And in those years, down till 2010-11, I was very active in the open source movement to create open source software for general public. The reason being, there was constantly a thing in my mind that I have to serve the digitally underserved community. And I was introduced as the CTO of Bookmatic Private Limited, the company which I founded. The reason we started it is because from 2011 till 2020, when I established the company, I was very, very, responsible for creating India's first open source accounting software in the Indian context. It was called GNU Khata, which Kerala government, by the way, funded. And during that process, I realized one thing, that everyone knows to make bills, everyone knows to make invoices, even the small businesses, even the roadside shops know to do how to do bills and all, kacha bill or whatever. What they find difficult is accounting. So my wife is sitting here in front. In 2016, she came into my NGO, which was established in 2012. I started one called Digital Freedom Foundation, which worked for inclusion of open source in mainstream technology as well as education. So what happened is, we decided that let's automate the accounting process for those people who really can't either understand it or who find hiring accountants very, very costly. Now, we don't actually automate auditing. I mean, AI may do it in some time, but auditing still has to be done using due diligence. Fine, but at least the data entry part, because once you make bills, you have to give all your bills and invoices to an accountant, then he will use his own software, do the double entry bookkeeping, then generate the reports, then go for the auditing. We thought, okay, why not create a situation wherein even the smallest of the small business can just click a button and get a book, a profit and loss or a balance sheet or a ledger or a GST report like a magic. I mean, few of our customers already said that this looks like magic, you know. हम लोग तो हमारे बिल बनाते हैं, अकाउंटेंट बोलते हैं भाई हमको P&L चाहिए, we just give them. So we actually were the first people to automate the accounting process in Indian context. So that happened in 2016-17 in the open source arena. But then we thought that, you know, to make it as a sustainable thing and to actually give proper services, good customer support, and a good infrastructure, we actually thought of, you know, launching this commercial venture called Bookmatic Private Limited. And of course, we do API integrations for you know, third-party vendors who are into fintech services or e-commerce and all. That also we are giving as a accounting automation. It's a unique service which we give in India. The thing again was that we understood that, you know, just like I talked about the visually disabled people, not having access to good technology or inclusive technology actually is denying them opportunities. So when we talk about the micro businesses, small businesses, these are the people who have, like, you know, 5 to 10 people working with them. They don't need HR, they don't need payroll, they don't need any complicated process. Yet they have to buy complex softwares. First of all, they are costly. Secondly, after that, they have to either learn or hire someone to use it. We thought we want to eliminate both the problems so that it becomes an equal playing ground for the digital trade ecosystem for the micro businesses in particular, and also some small businesses. And that's how we started Online Khata, which is our flagship product, which actually eliminates the need for accountant for data entry. And what happens as a result? They get more time for their business, and most importantly, 80% of their compliance cost goes down. Now they only have to get the ready-made reports and just directly go to the auditor and file the returns and forget about it. So 80% of the cost which actually goes into data entry, hiring the services of an accountant for that is completely eliminated. Again, the same purpose was there, that we wanted to make this entire system inclusive. And as a side note, as a social part of it, we have seen to it that it is also accessible, which means a talking software or a screen reader can use that software, which means now visually disabled people can also get into commerce streams. Of course, a few people have already tried it before this thing came, but they had several challenges. They could have done it much easily, or a lot of them actually apparently failed and did something else. But now they can get into commerce field also. Now talking about engineering, I'll tell you, it is, you know, more easier said than done, because when you write, initially I used to do programming myself when my enterprise was very small, right? Now we have a huge company and we have a staff doing stuff. Writing code, you know, remembering the variables, remembering the functions, remembering where their contexts are, how they link, where the code actually is, the line numbers, you know, you have to, which means my brain also has to be a RAM memory, right? I also have those things in my brain, and then I can program and simultaneously hear what the computer is saying. Let me tell you, it's a challenge, but if you do have some resilience, and if you do decide that we have to get through this, you know, any one of us can do it. And there are several technical challenges which keep coming to us. We were just discussing some time back about, you know, what problems AI could pose. I always keep asking people, how would you challenge AI? Because eventually AI has been created by human brains. And it's a long way to go before we see those, you know, sci-fi fantasies happening, which we see in several other movies, especially the Hollywood movies. पता नहीं aliens Hollywood में और Russia में क्यों उतरते हैं? I mean, except the one with Amir Khan, I have never seen an alien landing in India. They always land either in USA or in Russia. Only these guys see aliens coming in there. Talk about Armageddon or any movie you talk. But anyways, jokes apart, you know, the challenge is to actually make this thing work together, because everything is on the cloud. Everything is, you know, now converting to AI. Of course, IoT is happening. One thing which I must mention is biotechnology or biotronics is something which is happening very fast. Chips being embedded in human bodies, right? It's such a big boon, but it could also become a challenge. What if a terrorist organization hacks into the network and starts, shutting down pacemakers of people if they are connected to the internet? I mean, this could happen. But how we challenge the challenges, or how we challenge the problems which can come, anticipating problems. This is something which we all must learn, and this is exactly what I did throughout my personal journey. Even now, I do help a lot of startups. I give a unique service. My consultancy is also going on apart from the product which I have developed, is to help people architect their products in such a way that not just the product cycle is fast, not just that they are able to launch it faster without fewer bugs, but very futuristically, you shouldn't be thinking down the line एक साल के बाद यार इसको ऐसे नहीं करना चाहिए था. That is something I prevent, and let me tell you, this is something you don't get on Google. You have to get it through experience only. So I do give a lot of consultancy services to other startups or mid-level companies as well. Fortunately, just to conclude, there is one advantage I always have, that when I work with teams, they get naturally inspired. They see that, if this person is doing it, why can't we do it as well? I have seen this happening so many times. And of course, since 2020, when we started the company, me and my wife sitting here, she apparently complements the missing part pretty well, because I don't really pay attention to the UI UX part of our product. She's the one who looks after that, while I take care of the entire backend stuff. And of course, the business strategies have to be handled by both me being a bit more experienced, because 20 years at least teaches you something in the industry. And so that's how the story is. I mean, I just gave it a bit of a personal touch, so that just to break the monotony a bit. Anyways, coding is, or as we all know, sometimes very monotonous. So I thought the technology, of course, there's a session at 7 o'clock where we'll be talking exclusively about technology and stuff. But I thought I would just share a brief journey of how things can happen and how things should happen when there are challenges. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mane. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you enjoyed. Can we have a huge round of applause? Thank you for sharing such illuminating insights with us. Thank you for your presence and, of course, sharing your triumphant journey. It definitely inspired me a lot. I did record a short video of you, sir. I'm just informing it to you. But yes, thank you. Thank you so much for motivating all of us here in the room. And thank you for inspiring. Thank you for your time. And, I'll request you to stay back, as you're going to be a part of the panel discussion as well.
Yeah.